This slow motion undusting scene is so very cool, but again brings up so many questions. And since the Sins channels have already had a few swings at this, let's just focus instead on the story of 44-year-old Ronald J. Tesh of Republic, Missouri. On the day of the snap, Ronald was walking his farm with his wife when he disintegrated right in front of her eyes. A year later, the still grieving widow had to sell the land to Amazon for a distribution center and take a job there as a line supervisor. 4 years after that, on the day of the reverse snap, she was doing her daily checks just as her late husband reappeared, standing in the midst of the mechanical jungle. His confused look didn't last long, as his upper torso was split by the assembly belt now occupying that space, and his wife watched his now bisected, lifeless corpse slowly proceed through the now gruesome assembly line. So, great job, Avengers! This subtitle implies that Monica Rambeau is, in fact, Maria Rambeau's daughter, who is a character from Captain Marvel. But it's hard to make out what the off-screen voice is saying, and if you don't have the subtitles on, you're more likely to miss that Captain Marvel is the one that's talking. If the reveal is supposed to be a surprise down the road, then a sin for secret spoiling subtitles. And if this is supposed to be pertinent information, then a sin for needing the subtitles on. Yes, I know I'm complicated. Not watching where you're blipping.
Oh, Dr. Harlan, thank God.
I can't believe it.
I was...
Where did you go?
One of the brilliant things about the connectedness of the MCU is the ripples of reveals like this. Now that we know Monica got dusted, when you watch Endgame, the Captain Marvel stuff becomes even more personal. It's honestly an incredible tool in their belt. And props to Marvel for understanding the power of complex canon building. Wait, what? This is a Marvel property I'm watching? It's bad enough I have to remember what SHIELD means, which, for the record, I do not. Now you're throwing sword at me? Too many acronyms, Marvel. I'm over-acronymed. Also, Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division may be the dumbest acronym ever. A full division dedicated to the response to observing sentient weapons. How many sentient weapons are we dealing with here? Also, if I'm understanding the people who would prefer I pronounce GIF, then this should actually be pronounced SWARD, since the O stands for observation. Good to know. I'll make sure I do that from here on out.
I work here and...
If you did, your badge would work, wouldn't it?
I know there are Apple eaters out there working reception desks, but considering billions of people just reappeared on the Earth a couple weeks ago, this kind of response seems like it's more to set up the
Hey, you know who this is?
cliché rather than anything approaching reality.
We haven't aged a day.
It was 5 years, not 50. Unless she was 7, expecting someone to have aged visibly in 5 years is just silly. And if it's just some lame attempt at blip humor, well, I'm sending your delivery. Getting stuck with the nickname Photon.
It also says observation and response on that door, not creation.
The world's not the same as you left it.
There is nothing more exciting in a superhero series than a discussion about corporate prioritization.
The FBI is in a tizzy over a missing persons case up in Jersey.
Missing persons?
I know, but they've requested use of one of our imaging drones.
But wouldn't a request like that require more information? SWARD is an organization that has to deal with situations on a galactic level. Why would they be interested in helping out the FBI in this capacity with this little knowledge going in? New Jersey.
James E. Woo, FBI.
Did you see that? He did the card trick Ant-Man showed him. Man, I can't keep taking sins off for these Marvel winks, so here's a sin for show taking 3 full episodes to Randall Park and Kat Dennings, I guess?
Pardon me, Sheriff. Would you mind repeating your claim about Westview to my colleague here?
No such place.
Many mysteries from the previous 3 episodes get solved over the next half hour. Still, one puzzle not pieced together is how the local law enforcement would be under Wanda's spell, but Wu and Rambeau aren't. They're standing in front of the same sign the police officers are. Also, how has no one else driven into Westview before now? Maybe the town isn't on a major road, but it's still on a road that could be a shortcut for someone looking to shave off a few minutes of their commute. Did all those people get a makeover and a new identity? These reveals are exciting, but they also make one wonder if Wanda's plan isn't terrible. I think Wanda's plan might be terrible.
Why haven't you gone inside to investigate?
Because it doesn't want me to.
Oh.
Growing up, other kids had Michael Jordan posters on their walls, but I had Elliot Ness.
Where would you even find an Elliot Ness poster pre-internet? And yes, I know The Untouchables was a popular movie in the late 80s, but those would be Kevin Costner posters. Scene only contains one broke girl. Also, how many MCU movies do we have to remember to keep the names and connections of the supporting characters straight? At least the Avengers movies stuck mainly with the big guns. If you immediately recall who Darcy Lewis or Jimmy Woo is, I salute you, but I shouldn't need a cheat sheet to understand your show. SWARD Response Base? Isn't response already in the acronym? Why not just call it the SWARD Divisional Base for Observation and Response? This is truly some top-notch, terrible acronyming.
Those drones you're sending in, what kind of data are you getting?
The beginning of this episode, Annihilation's so hard that if Kat Dennings doesn't eventually find some sort of nightmare bear roar screaming the word drone, I'm gonna be severely disappointed. Also, drones.
You guys look like you might get down with those little pod things. Horrendous for the environment.
Technically, this is a true statement, but K-pods are also recyclable, so this is more about laziness than environmental concern, Darcy.
I got it.
While the crew cut does seem like an asshole, you didn't actually ask for assistance.
There's no reason to suspect the perimeter doesn't extend subterraneously.
Jimmy would be fresh off the boat at TVSins.
So you're saying the universe created a sitcom starring 2 Avengers?
Show includes confused fan ramblings frustrated at not being able to binge the whole season of WandaVision. Have some patience, you spoiled streamer babies. Wait, it's ending? I mean, I know you wanted to wink back at the mid-credit Easter egg of the first episode, but when we first see the show, they're at the start of the boss visits for dinner scene, which was a good 10 minutes before the show's credits. And considering this entire real-time conversation lasts less than 3 minutes, I think you may have fudged on the show timeline quite a bit there. Whiteboard from the Sins writing room, desperately trying to figure out how to send a mystery in real time, is somehow transported onto the show. Wait a second, have we even seen this? I don't think it's in the first 2, so does this mean there might be another episode of the Bewitched or Dick Van Dyke style shows? Are you holding out on us, D+? Release the dick cut! What? That's honestly not the worst way that could have gone.
Wanda, can you read me? Over.
This kind of works. But then in the episode, she somehow rewound out of this moment. So what happened to this guy when she did that? If real objects and people get integrated into the time period, fine. But I'm pre-sinning that we will likely never get an explanation to the paradox of the timing of all this. And if we do, then I'll be happy to take a sin back. Okay, I'll begrudgingly take a sin back. Okay, fine, I'll pretend to take a sin back and then make some snarky comment and actually add a sin instead. Happy now? Seriously? A whole staff set up to painstakingly watch episodes of television to break them down looking for meaning and minutia? Are we really supposed to believe such a place would exist?
Oh, he's perfect.
Twins.
But they shouldn't know that yet. In the previous episode, Rambo delivered the one baby, and then they discovered a second one was coming after Vision came in with the doctor.
But where's Rambo?
Not answering this question was some variation of probably in a headband off brutally killing some people in a jungle somewhere in the name of justice.
And I want you to leave.
Once again, I have to ask how Wanda's powers work. At times, she can make something appear with the snap of her fingers. So why couldn't she simply make Monica disappear? Now Wanda has more unnecessary cleanup. Just snap your fingers. You've done it several times so far. Why would Wanda see this version of Vision? This would mean he's dead. And he isn't dead. He is perfectly fine and everyone will be happy, and how dare they try to make any of us believe otherwise?
Oh, glass in my eye. Glass in my eye.
Do the TVSins guys secretly love movies? Shh. Have they had a podcast devoted to discussing movies called Sincast since 2015? Shh. Have they had a vast array of movie talks, deep dives, games, guest interviews, Q&A, and much more on the Sincast? Damn it, I said keep it down. Oh, screw it. The secret's out. Check out the Sincast every Monday and more wherever you do your podcasts. We have fun.
We haven't aged a day.
Go f yourself.
What about you?
I've got a butthole, and it's working overtime.
Careful, Rambo.
They drew first blood, not me.
Whoa. I mean,
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
What is it? What's wrong?
I see dead people.
Monica!
You okay?
We have to go back, Kate.